morning, everyone. Welcome to Ham Radio Basics Live, Season 2, Episode 31, Ham Radio News and Updates, 7/31/2024. Last day of July. We're rolling right along here. Hope everybody's doing fine. We got a good group already here. Let's see. Cooley, welcome. Andy's here. Good deal. Chris is here. Welcome. Good to see everybody tonight. All right. Got some things to talk about. I know it's really kind of funny. It's not really funny, but, it seems that there are some cycles, kind of like solar cycles with ham radio. And right now it's just kind of like there's not a lot of real news out there, but there are some things out there to talk about. And we're going to get to that here in a couple of minutes. One of the things I want to let everybody know, we first few months this year, especially like March, April, we had a drought. It was pretty dry around here. But I'm going to say for the last 4 or 5 weeks in a row, probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock, this squall of thunderstorms come through and a downpour. And then usually they last overnight in the morning because my truck's all wet and everything. So, we've went from the opposite. Now we're getting almost too much rain, and it's kind of crazy right now. So, yeah, all that kind of good stuff. So just a couple of reminders. Next month, which is already tomorrow, Huntsville Ham Fest is coming up. I don't have the exact dates on that. I think Jason either had or is having a show on that, so you might want to watch him for some news on that. And I can't believe I haven't seen anything, and I'm probably going to do. I may do a video on the Tokyo Ham Fest that's coming up, just kind of like anticipating things, because that's going to be a big one, because ICOM is going to reveal the radio that we saw at Hamvention this year. So stay tuned for that. I think I'm going to put something together on that just to kind of see if maybe I can shake the cobwebs and maybe find some information on it. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where things are at right now. So let's kind of like jump into things here. Now, one thing is I said I've been doing, instead of my Twitter feed, I'm still out there and I still do things out there. I've been putting things out on my Facebook group, Ham Radio Basics. So that's where all this is contained. So if you guys want to head on out there, you're welcome to do that. Okay. And you can see right here, one of the first things, there's a solar flare and it shows, and you can see right here with the waterfall graph. Excuse me. Yeah, it's unfortunately, part of the real deal right now. That's something that we all have to deal with, especially with, excuse me, let me get something to drink here. Where the band conditions are right now, it's just not very cooperative, just not very, very friendly. But that doesn't mean not to try, because, it may not be good in your area, but it may be good in another person's area too. So this was real interesting here. This is the energy distribution of a dipole antenna, and the power is indicated by the lines in red. And you can take a look, and I was really impressed with this graphic. Whoever did this did an excellent job, and it really kind of gives you an idea how a dipole works. So that's something I would definitely share if you know some people that want to find out how a dipole works. It's right here. 20 meters is wide open to Asia this morning, and wow, he was making a ton of contact. See, and then it all depends on where you're at. And it looks like this gentleman's probably on the West Coast, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but making some great contacts there. And that's why, you see how band conditions are, but always, go out there and key up. You never know, power up your radio, take a look and see. You might, obviously band conditions were great for 20 meters at the time. This gentleman, and he made a boatload of contacts here. This is real interesting. This was drove by these massive military antennas today. Sorry, not some of the best pictures as I was driving. You could see all the interesting designs and details of these antennas. And I believe this was, let me go ahead and bring some of these up here. Very interesting antenna setups there. He did a great job in taking those pictures. That's very impressive. Okay, and see if we can back up here where I need to be. Okay. Got me way out of sorts here, but that's okay. I think we'll find out back where we're at here. Okay. Just hopped home and turned on the 7300 for a moment. Looks like a pipeline from Texas, Louisiana, and more into through Florida right now. 10 meters is super busy. Too bad I have to go back to work. Okay. And that's the thing for most of us who are still gainfully employed. I know, like all you guys are. Um, is me, and it would be wonderful. I mean, I'm on the cusp of retirement, and it's like I don't have anything to do right now. I do drones. I do obviously ham radio. I have a Tundra that I have a channel on, and I started a channel about my favorite hockey team, Florida Panthers, and you know things to keep busy with. But I'm going to enjoy being able to get on during the day. Because it's usually, it's like during the day I'm working, and even working from home, that doesn't happen. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that. But that's real. That was really, really good. Um, this was a real interesting post right here. And it thanks for everyone. Confirm my concerns. Won't be buying overseas. And he was looking for a 450D or FTDX 1200. And one of the things that you find out very early on ham radio, James, congratulations. Thanks for stopping by tonight. Okay. Um, one of the things I can tell you is, early on, you go out to eBay and you look at things like for example, 705 or 7300 or any AC radios out there, and their prices are a lot less than what we pay here in the U.S., but they're, it's Japanese. When you find out in a hurry, and that's one of the things I found out, after I got my license, when I was really interested, and I'm like, hey, these prices are great out here. They said, don't touch. And they said, why? Their bands are completely different. Okay. It will be, you will be extremely disappointed with what you get. Okay. So, and somebody told me that. So I pay heed to that. And every time I get the chance, I want to pass it along to everybody and let them know about it, because it's like, you just you can't buy those radios from Japan. You just can't do that. Okay. Because they're made specifically for the Japanese market. They're not made to the United States. And, it's just, the bands are wrong. And, well, it's right for Japan, but it's not right for here. So that's why anytime you go out to eBay and you want to look at getting an ICOM or a Yaesu, especially, not so much an HT, but a transceiver. If you're looking to do that, you want to make sure that it's intended for the USA market. And there's ways to tell that. And I think I even did a video on that. I'm not 100% sure, but there are videos on ways to tell that. For example, I know, looking at the serial number, looking at the box, it'll tell you these kinds of things. So be very wary, especially those of you just getting started in ham radio. With these, I can't emphasize that enough, because everybody, oh, I can save $200 or $300. No, you're not going to save that money. Yeah, you would save that money if you bought it, but you're going to get something that's not going to work. I mean, it's going to work, but it's going to be very limited with what you can do, and you'll be very disappointed with that. So, all right, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one, but I thought I wanted to go ahead and do that here. Okay. This guy does an interesting video right here. 40-meter amateur radio band scan. Actually did this today on July 31st, 2024. This is a video stream recording in which I monitored the 40-meter band, radio band, using an ICOM IC7610 with a doublet 80-meter antenna up at 80 feet. The receiver is in southwestern Ohio. In the video, I'm scanning various frequencies on 40-meter amateur radio band, mostly voice signals in lower sideband or LSB. Checked out some Morse code CW mode as well. Did a short listen to an international shortwave radio broadcast. Then back to checking out some voice communication. It's very good. There are a lot of guys that, YouTube's a wonderful medium, and I think this is a good thing, to be able to go out there and to check these things out. And it's very informational. A lot of guys just dismiss videos like this. I don't. I think they're very good. I think you can learn from these videos, and that's why we have everybody is free to put out the information out there, and it's helpful. It's a helpful video, and you learn from these things. Okay, and that's one of the things, one of the takeaways, and that's what I like to you know put on a show is educational things that you're gonna learn from. It'll be a learning experience. So I think it's a real good thing as far as that's concerned here. You can see, oops, incoming. Okay. You can take a look here, and yeah, it's not very cooperative right now, and it's just one of those things. And like I said, a lot of times it depends on time of day, where you live. I think conditions can be different. I know down in Florida here, it's not well for me personally. When I went out a couple Saturdays ago, it was not good at all. I gotta say this. I was very fortunate to get. I got a couple of contacts on the 6200 when I first fired it up, and I was very fortunate to do that. Very fortunate to do that. Gentleman got his technician license and then his general, and he's showing us his shack here, and it looks like it's probably out in the garage, and he has a Craftsman tool chest, and it looks like a chair for something out in the garage, but it's got a pretty nice setup. Looks like he's got some nice gear out there. So I always like seeing people's different shacks out there. I think that it's as individual as the person's out there. Um, I think I even talked about this last week, but it's 13 Colonies is becoming a very popular contest. It's really risen up the past few years, and people are really enjoying it. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great idea. I think these contests are really good, as long as they don't get out of hand. Some people get really bent out of shape with these contests, but this isn't one that people are real bent out of shape about, which is nice. But it's all about making contacts and meeting people, and making some QSOs out there. And I gotta say this too. You know, give them a signal report, tell them where you're from, and just say, "I hope you have a great day today." Just pass on some good things. Saying we're enjoying some nice weather right now. Hope things are well in your neck of the woods. Have a good day. Don't just give them a signal report and tell them where you're from. Tell them things like, we're having some good weather here, or it's been kind of nasty. We've been getting a lot of rain lately. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 90s, that kind of thing. Just kind of FYI, just you find out things that way. You learn things that way. So it's always good to share just a little bit more than just like a signal report with people. And I try to do that, on quick ones. So this gentleman here put together his first J pole, and looks like he was pretty successful in it. Now, I love coming across seeing some of these old cards here, and I think it's fantastic seeing these things. And you can take a look. It was 1935 is the date on that. If you take a look at that, and I love when people post this kind of information. I think it's fantastic because it really kind of shows you that it was alive and well and active back then. And I think that's a fantastic thing. I think that's great. Now, Walt did a couple of videos from Walt. Wanted to call your attention to the operating portable ham radio and exploring an abandoned military radio listening post. And this was, as you guys know, if you've been watching Walt's videos lately, he's working now in Rhode Island. He's going to be up there for probably about a year or so. And he went out on an island, and on the island, he found it was an old military post out there that had some antennas on it. And he talks about it in the video, and it was really interesting. So definitely you want to take a look at that. And of course, easy to build 17.5 multiband HF antenna. Walt makes things, he's so basic, he's so easy. He's one of my favorite guys out there because he keeps things so simple. Absolutely keeps things so simple. Yeah, Chris, it really was. It was a fantastic video. This one too, the easy to build 17.5 multiband HF antenna. Again, I can't emphasize enough how fantastic you don't. This goes to show you you don't need to spend 3 or 4 or $500 on getting an antenna together. I mean, it really, they're really not that cost prohibitive, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, there was a video here, and I don't even know what it was. I posted a link here, and I'm not sure. Jason put out a great video called "Discover the Best Ham Radio Clubs and Why You Should Join." Okay, and I've actually talked about that before, and I think I have in my early videos. I kind of addressed that, and I look for some pointers to find a good club, and one of them is engagement. And I can tell you a tale of two clubs around here that I joined. One I joined right by where I live, right here, probably like 2 miles away. Another one's probably about 10 or 15 miles away. And they're night and day difference from each other because the one that I joined right by me, I live on the outskirts of Sun City Center in Florida, and it is a pretty much a 100% retirement community. They allow golf carts on, and part of it, they have like side roads. They allow golf carts on them, and you see golf carts everywhere down there. And there's, I call them golf cart warriors. They don't wear seat belts, and it's just, yeah, it's take your life into your own hands kind of a thing. And they have parking spaces for them at Publix and McDonald's and things. But anyway, there's a lot of seniors down here, and I'm talking like, I mean, I'm 66, but we're talking, I think the average age at this one club down here is probably mid to late 70s. Okay, and while they're active, so to speak, they're not active. I mean, they don't go out and do, go to parks and things like that. They meet at a clubhouse. And they have radio set up there, but they're not really active. They don't do a lot of activity. I sent a few emails. Nobody got back to me. It's just they're very, they're very kind of set in their ways. Versus the other club that I joined. Okay, they're very outgoing. They have a lot of social events. In fact, I think they go out to breakfast at least twice a week. Once on Wednesday, once on Saturdays. They love to engage people. They love to have people come to their monthly meetings to have input with their board. Uh, they do a lot of activities around here. They're very engaging. They sponsor a lot of events, and they're also, when on field day, they were very active with field day as well too. And they do answer questions. They're available out there. They do a great job. And it's a tale of two clubs. It really is. So you can find the good and the bad. And it's kind of, I'm not dismissing that first club, but they've gotten to the point where some of their younger people are in their mid 70s over there, and they're very limited. They don't really respond. They're really not social media savvy, and just versus this other club, they realized they needed to get social media savvy, so they've gotten a presence out on social media. They have events going on, at least like two breakfasts or lunches during the week to meet people, and there's a lot of communication there, and that's a good thing. So I think you want to find a club like that. You want one that goes out there. They have a number one of the things that I talk about on that video is going out and looking for a club that has a great website. That is really, 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 I think will tell you a whole lot, because if they have a good website, they're active, they're engaging, they're involved, and go through the the one that I'm a part of. They have monthly newsletters out there. They publish them. It's just very, very, very good. And I think that's one of the big things to look for. But definitely you want to watch this video. Jason did a great job on that. He gets into a lot of stuff. You definitely want to take a look at this video. See, James, I love that kind of stuff. Okay, because it goes to show you, like I said, you don't have to spend 300 or 400 bucks in getting a good antenna out there. That is absolutely fantastic. Our good friend Mike here, K8MRD. I know he calls himself. It's like he changed the name of the channel. I always call him K8MRD. choosing an end-fed half wave. It's his Monday mailbag, and if you've ever seen his mailbag videos, he does a great job with that. He really answers a lot of emails and questions and things like that. But this is a good video, and he talks about how to choose a perfect portable end-fed half wave antenna on it. So that's something you definitely want to pay attention to. Now, this is a real interesting one from Steve, TO. Uh, he was out in Montana and he was trying to do a park to park. And I'll tell you what, I heard a noise out there like, yeah, ham radio tube. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, James. Um, appreciate that. When he was trying, he was trying to make some contacts, and he's working his 705, and this it was a shrill sound that I've never heard before. I commented on him on it, and I watched most of the video. I didn't watch all of it today, but I'd never heard anything like that before. If you get a chance to watch this video, okay, it's his newest video. It's called "Activate Like a Dog." Um, it's very, very, very interesting. You want to listen to it. I mean, he's crystal clear. He has a good antenna set up and everything. I don't think there was anything on his end at all. He was trying to do a park to park. I think it was on their end. So, but yeah, you definitely want to watch this. Now, this is a good video from Josh. Okay, the best buy once, cry once ham radio, and gets into a lot of things about when you're looking to buy, like, especially not your first HT, but more or less like your first transceiver, okay, your first HF rig. And, you're going to kind of swallow real hard and, plunk that money down and buy it. And, you kind of have that feeling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, oh yeah, he has, Andy. He really has. Steve is so good. Steve's real he gets into the nanobytes. Okay, he gets down into the nitty gritty and very technical. And I love his videos. He does a great job on that. And a lot of times you can get a lot of tips from Steve. He does a great job with that. This one from Josh, it really gets into the whole mechanism of this. Buy once, cry once kind of thing, as far as getting your first, really like your first rig, your first decent one, and you learn a lot, and it's a great video. It's something I encourage you guys to watch if you get a chance. He did a good job on this. I know it's been out for probably a week or so, but it's done really well. Then of course, prompting for tonight's video, and then our good friend Michael Martin's product review, compact end fed antenna. Great, great, great video Michael does on that. And it's something I think you should definitely take a look at. And what I like about a lot of Michael's videos is, the antennas that he looks at. He does do quite a bit of antenna reviews on his channel. The antennas he looks at aren't really too terribly expensive. They're not really going to set you back. And this is one I think you should explore, because especially the portability of it. It's compact, and and that seems to be the name of the game. One of my more popular videos was my go bag that I did for my IC705, and yeah, you're right. You're right, Chris. They really are not. Um, and I think you know as things progress in this kind of a time frame. I mean, now that I've seen that they have cases that you can get for your 7300 to take it out, and I know Ham Radio for Non-Techies, Scott. He takes the 7300 out to do to do probably either POTA or just going outside to use it. And I was like, okay, I had never really kind of heard of that before, but apparently it's a thing. And they make a bag to carry a 7300 out there to set up out there. And I have seen some videos on that, which really kind of surprised me. But I think it's everybody does their own thing, and everybody gets out there and wants to do. Walt, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. I've been saying your ears should be burning, but in a good way. Okay. I did talk about a couple of your videos, and let's go ahead and I'll go back here. The one with the abandoned military radio listening post, and then your easy to build 17.5 multi-band HF antenna. Just absolutely fantastic video. I really like the history about the military radio listening post, Walt. That was fantastic. Just absolutely great. Absolutely great. Just and say I'm a little bit of a military buff. My dad was in the Navy in World War II, so anything along those lines, anything of interest like that, it always raises my antennas in a good way, so to speak. And I really like watching that. And that was really good. I love history. I love seeing things like that and the history behind all that. And apparently they used that. I think you said up until 1974, which I think was fantastic. I really that's just absolutely great to see that. Um, we talked about Mike's video, we talked about Steve's video right here. And you got to listen to it. That sound, that shrill sound on Steve's video. If you do anything before you go to bed tonight, watch the first 5 minutes of that video, and you'll hear that sound when he's trying to make a QSO. Oh my gosh! I seriously, guys, I've been a licensed ham 8, 9 years, 10 years, almost going on 10. I've never heard a sound like that before. Never. And I've heard a lot of sounds on there. Definitely. That's something you want to check out. And Michael's video too. I don't know why uh, Facebook posted it twice. I only put it out there once, but Facebook posted it twice. So go figure. Well, sign me up, my friend. I'm looking forward to that. That sounds great. I love that history behind that. I mean, that just wow, fantastic. I absolutely, positively love that. And let me know after you do a couple more of them, and we'll get you back on the air because I'd love to talk about that with you. I think that's just, like I said, I eat that stuff up. I mean, it's just, I think it's so interesting. And I think I'm probably, I think a lot of the guys out here think that's real interesting too. I would love to have you back on after you go out to a couple more of these and do these. I mean, it's just so rich in history. It just absolutely, and anything military wise that also that really interests me. And along those lines, and then of course if it's anything to do around World War II, that interests me as well. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of installations up and down the East Coast like that, like the one that you showed us in the video, and like the ones you're going to be showing us. And I think they had a lot to do, especially during the World War II and the effort during that time period. And I think it's fantastic. And you know, so much can be said for probably back in the day, and, I haven't seen a lot of information on this, but I'm gonna do some research on it, and I may do a video on it to see, especially they had there were a lot of volunteers during World War II. A lot of men were older and they couldn't join the military. A lot of them were observers and things like that, and air raid wardens and such. But really like to see about the use of ham radio during that time and how to protect the defense of the United States. To see how that was involved. Really like to do some investigation into that. So stay tuned. I'm gonna do some research and see if I can do something like that. Oh wow, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Like my dad was in World War II. He was in the Navy. Um, was on the USS Lexington, which is down in Corpus Christi, Texas. He served. He was a plank owner, and I think you probably know what that is. Okay, he was part of the original crew on board the second USS Lexington. It was named after the one that was sunk in the Battle of the Coral Sea, and it was in Quincy, Massachusetts, where it was built. And he was part of the original crew. And he told me he remembered sailing through the Panama Canal, and he said the ship was so tight they lost several lights out, some of the marker lights on the outside of the ship because the canals were just so tight getting the ships through there. They fit, but it was a very tight fit. And he was telling me about that. And he said it took a long time. It's not a short journey going through the Panama Canal. I think he said it was like 10, 12 hours or something like that back in the day. It's just, to go through this series of locks and get through there. And it was a very tight fit. But yeah, he did remember that distinctly, going through there. And it was very interesting. I mean, my dad had some very rich stories just absolutely fantastic about his time dur- during his time in World War II. And, he passed all that on to me. And I think what a rich tradition and legacy is. I'm sure for you, Walt, I think you probably had some things passed on to you as well, too. And, I still have my dad. I had my dad's foot locker from World War II. He was given a Japanese rifle on when he was discharged. They had a choice of getting a samurai sword or a rifle. He got the rifle, and I still have that, and it has inscriptions on it. And I found out it's probably worth about $4 or $5,000 today. And well, I have it, and I'm keeping it. It's not going anywhere. I think it's very rich in terms of its history, and I really really like things like that. I also have a diary from my dad in World War II, and I know I'm digressing here a little bit, but uh, the diary, it was real interesting. You couldn't write if you would write back home. Censors would actually open up the letters and then reseal them, and they would cut out parts of letters that if you were saying anything about life on the ship, or any type of information that could have given the enemy advantage, it was literally cut out of the letters. But what he wrote in his diary was, and I think this was in June or even July of 1945, we're told that the United States has a bomb that will end the war. They knew that, and but obviously he couldn't pass that on to anybody. I mean, they could talk it amongst themselves, but um, there had to have been a lot of joy with that, because had they gone to invade the mainland of Japan, there would have been millions of casualties, and it would have, I don't know if I would be here today, to be quite honest with you. And I'm very thankful that my dad got honorably discharged, and um, you know, I should probably schedule a show and do that. Maybe Walt and I can do a military show sometime and just talk about that sometime. I think that'd be really good. Um, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do want to get you back on, Walt. You go out there, get a couple more of these installations, and we can talk about them and spend some time talking about some military things too. I think that would just be absolutely fascinating. I would love to find out about your background and everything. That's great. So, guys, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your Wednesday night to spend a half hour or so with us, going through some of the news and things that are out there, and just catching up. And you guys are like family to me, all you. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Please make sure that you hit the like button on the way out. It helps me. What can I say? Um, Real interesting note. I received an email from YouTube that I'm monetized, but I'm not to my hours yet. And you have to have 4,000 hours in a consecutive year's time. But the stats tell me that I'm over 4,000 hours, so I don't know about that. But officially, I'm monetized, but I'm still not getting anything. But if you can, please make sure you hit the like button on the way out. I'd appreciate that. That helps me. That helps a lot, and I want to appreciate you guys for tuning in each week. It's just it really warms my heart. It's one of the great parts of my week, is being able to see all you guys out there and interacting with all you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Walt, thanks for stopping by tonight. Really appreciate that, and we'll definitely catch up again in a few weeks. I definitely want to have you back on, and we can talk some more about this military history. It would just be very rich, and I think everybody would enjoy that as well. Guys, remember, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 threes, everybody. Have a great rest of your